Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aegis Marauders League for the quarterfinals. We're getting very close to those finals. 8 teams left, and only 4 get to move on to next week. How are you feeling today, Ozzy?
I am feeling fantastic, of course. The closer we get to finals, the more it's bittersweet for me, but also I get more excited. We're getting closer to that apex of competition, so hopefully today we have a pretty nice matchup. Of course, last week, kind of pretty quick one, but that's all right. I'm never going to complain about a quick one as a caster, but also I am kind of sad. I do want to see competition, but of course, we did have a reschedule today, so our stream match actually did change, Boss Kitty.
Yes, it did. So today, it looks like we're watching Cupid Academy Dark versus SYN Reprise. And those are the 2 teams we'll be seeing today.
Yeah, so cool. I'm glad we were at least able to cast a match today. Let's just get that out there. I'm glad we're able to cast, but I'm sure we would have found a cast anyways, regardless today. But yeah, of course, as we are getting closer to the finals, things start to heat up. Things start to get a little bit more serious every single week here for these teams as the pressure starts to mount. They're basically as warm as they possibly can be, getting their practice reps in throughout the season. So surely today it will be very competitive.
That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm expecting. An interesting thing, SYN Reprise actually won as the lower seed coming into week 1. There was only one other team to do it. About 6 out of 8 of the higher seed teams ended up winning their matches last week. But Reprise was able to do it, and they're moving on to the quarterfinals here. So I'm expecting a decent amount from this team. If nothing else, then just kind of like an underdog run here, which I'm always here for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always rooting for underdog teams as well. Also, specifically if you know Syndicate as an org, I feel like they're always the underdog story. Like, they always have a team that's just always on the run in championships as the underdog. So maybe it's just the buff. Maybe they did intentionally get themselves in this position because it's just some buff so they can make it to finals. I don't know how it works, but every time I see Syndicate, I swear this is the position they find themselves in, where they're like, man, we got to beat the first seed team. Easy peasy, let me in there. And then they just make it all the way to finals. Even if they don't necessarily win finals, it's still an insane run. You're looking at lower seeded teams. So we'll see if they tap into some of that magic here today. Granted, Cupid, might put up a pretty decent fight of their own, though.
I could definitely see that. They had some pretty scary players from what I was seeing, and they play some pretty scary champions. Most notably, it looked like their top and jungler both played Mbessa. So how's that champ doing? You want to do our weekly check-in?
Our weekly check-in with Mbessa, my favorite thing. Well, 76% presence, so she's been, just to put out a number here. Actually, I'll ask you, Boss Kitty, how many bans do you think Mbessa has had? Ballpark. You don't have to give me the exact, just ballpark how many bans.
Well, I did cheat a little bit because I checked earlier. But I know it was a lot. I'm trying to remember. Are you looking for percentage or raw number of bans?
Just raw number.
I'm going to say 80.
All right, how about 146 bans coming through the champion in AML?
Oh my god.
So, and also she's been picked 39 times, still maintaining around a 60% win rate, which is still insane. 39 picks for a 60% win rate in a competitive league, that doesn't play a lot of games, is actually insane, right? That is really insane stats, and also just the sheer numbers of bans. In fact, the next highest ban champion, she is doing literally just under double that champion's ban rate. So pretty insane. But speaking of, we actually have a new champion kind of tying up Varus here for the number 2 spot, being the Orianna. So who you talked a little bit about, you did in fact admit that you did cheat a little bit, but she is not looking so hot with that 30% win rate. So sorry, 37, almost 40, so 37% win rate. Still not looking all that great. She's been picked over 50 times, 54 times to be exact. So we'll see if any of that comes into play, or if they'll keep these champions banned, because they all have higher ban rates.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting we will see a lot of bans, especially because of two of Cupid's players playing Mbessa, and their mid laner also does play Orianna. So we might have a lot of priority bans on those characters, but a lot of times teams like to come in with their own very unique draft strategies. I know when I was doing draft prep, I tried to plan for a lot of different scenarios. Sometimes I had my own wacky strategies. Sometimes you have your specific pairings that you enjoy more. So it kind of just depends on what the teams are feeling today. And above all, quarterfinals, it's not finals, but it is high stakes. And a lot of times going back to comfort is kind of the best move for some of these players.
I mean, I will say as well, right, specifically, a lot of teams will have a lot of pocket picks that they've been secretly practicing in scrims, not trying to tip any teams off. Well, it's quarterfinals, so we're probably about to start seeing a whole lot of these pocket picks that have been hidden for so long start to come to fruition, especially if we get later in Fearless. Although I do say that, but you look at what we've been casting recently, and it seems to be the opposite, where you just pick the craziest stuff at the start, and then we get closer to what should be the prio later in the series, which is a bit different, but if it works, it works. Not gonna hate if it's working.
Yeah, and let's say hello to our teams here. Here's Cupid Academy Dark. They are 7-0 with a 14-2 match record. They have Nute in the top lane, Trix in the jungle, Kaztek in the mid lane, Loki in the bot lane, and Turk in support with many subs, which again, subs make it all possible. Love the substitute players. But this roster, definitely a force to be reckoned with here for SYN today.
Yeah, now we're going to look at SYN Reprise here. We got El Pafo in the top lane, Chill Savior in the jungle, Tango in the mid lane, Blush in the 80 carry role, and Panda coming in for support. Now, we have not heard of any potential subs, so hopefully we won't have to deal with that, and neither team really has to deal with that, but we'll see how they do. Because we are going to move into the draft here, and drafts does get us started, but even if you do have a weirder draft, that it's not necessarily saying too much. It's not like, oh, by the way, this draft is pretty weird, we're gonna lose. No, not always. Sometimes the weird drafts do win. So we'll see what we have planned for us. But already a Vi ban, and we were actually talking off break, or while we were waiting for our stream to start here, about Nocturne and J4. Funnily enough, so already shutting down some prime jungler pairings with the Orianna, who has gone unbanned, but also the Mbessa. Does she need an introduction? We literally yapped about her a couple minutes prior. I'm not shocked. I'm just totally not shocked.
And the Pantheon and Orianna, it was funny, I was about to say, and Mbessa's open, and then they slammed it for the first thing. But, Pantheon, Orianna, also two very high priority picks right now. The other thing we were talking about before the stream started here was Pantheon, because he has that global ultimate, similar to the Nocturne. You're kind of able to influence the map from inside the jungle or from however far away, and it is very strong in the current meta. Paired alongside an Orianna, of course, definitely a great start to the draft here for Syndicate.
Yeah, and it's going to be Skarner, so they're actually kind of keeping some flexibility here. We did talk about Skarner last week. We did see Skarner jungle come into fruition, although I would have preferred it to be top lane. But some flexibility here in some draft, and also a champion that's been kind of making her return is the Annie. Annie has been making it, on the comeback, thanks to some of these like more pick style junglers, especially like the global ultimates, like the Nocturne, the Pantheon coming back really heavily in the meta, right? You can actually utilize champions like the Annie to punish in the side lane. Like, that's something that's really strong, right? You can have your jungler hovering on that quadrant of the map with you, and then if your opponent makes a mistake, they misstep forward at the wrong time while they get anti-stunned, they get ulted, either Grand Starfall or the Paranoia, which is banned this game, right? Like, and they just die. So
yeah, definitely a great side lane threat for Burst there, as it will be the Renekton locked in on R3 here. I'm assuming it probably will be the Mbessa top lane now, so Renekton good into that either way. If they do decide to use that little bit of flexibility, I think Renekton's pretty solid either way. So definitely good pickup there in the top lane for Syndicate. Looks like the first ban for them was the Bard, and now we're definitely taking down that support champ pool with the Seraphine band on the other side.
Yeah, so no way to carry Prio here, which is a little interesting. I will be curious to see if Cupid opt to go for the Mbessa top now that the Renekton got locked in, because of how good it is into the Mbessa overall. We did see that being, a pretty strong counter pick towards Mbessa when she was super duper popular in the top lane before she got her jungle changes and she started making a rise in jungle. But I think this is Syndicate's way of saying, hey, we want this Mbessa to go jungle, right? Like, we want to force this Mbessa into the jungle, force your Skarner to go top into the Renekton. And with the Ezreal ban as well, already not going to have that, so we'll see what's on the table. Corki Nami pairing already taken away because of the Nami ban. There's a lot of pairs actually taken away, and I think that's kind of why we saw 80 carries being picked, earlier in the draft, is because, as it turns out, Ashe Seraphine paired up together is great. Ezreal Karma paired up together is great. Corki Nami paired together is great, but it's going to be the Yunara lock-in. Has been kind of more of a Game 3, Game 2 champion, where she's Yunara Lulu is kind of really popular, so we'll see if Syndicate are going to pick up the Lulu for themselves, or if Cupid might end up taking it away to prevent that pair.
Yeah, I think they totally can take it here. You have the Mbessa who's going to go in, you have a Skarner for a bit of engage, even Annie can engage in this kind of clutch moments, so taking away the Enchanter support is definitely a good move, and it will be what they opt into. The question is what you kind of pair it with, and at this point, maybe it's the Aphelios. We've seen it as an answer into the Yunara before. It's really strong with the Lulu, so that would kind of be my gut instinct there, but the ADC pool is more open than the support at this point, so they can kind of have their free range.
I worry a little bit here for Cupid, because if they pick Aphelios, it's really hard to play Aphelios this game, right? Pantheon, you make a misstep, it's actually going to be Ashe Lulu, which is very interesting. And to the Milio here for Syndicate, and it feels like they had this answer already prepped with the Insta Slam of the Milio there, there was no hesitation on that whatsoever. I wonder, right? I wonder if you are Syndicate, how much you care about your bot lane being under tower. Because A, it's going to give really good ganks for Pantheon, right? The Ashe is going to struggle to get away in general, especially post level 6, right? Post level 6, the Yunara's rundown capability is insane. You have Milio ult to just instantly cleanse off the Enchanted Crystal Arrow if she tries to use it defensively. You have a lot of good tools here for Syndicate to maybe punish out this Ashe pick. But we'll see what happens. Of course, still strength with the Orianna Pantheon, so we probably are going to see quite a few mid lane visits, if nothing else, this game.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that being a high priority lane. You want the Orianna to be ahead. That was something we were talking about with her in the pre-stream phase, but you want her to win the lane phase. You want her to be able to be set up well for those mid-game moments. And I think that's something that Syndicate can definitely play around here. I do like the Milio into the Lulu, like you mentioned, or into the Ashe, sorry. You mentioned being able to cleanse that Enchanted Crystal Arrow is definitely very high priority there for the counter pick. It is interesting to me that they prioritize the Yunara over the Lulu, since Lulu seems to be kind of the more important part of the pairing in a lot of cases, from how I've seen draft priority lately. But Ash Lulu, definitely pretty good. I think we talked about this last week, but Ash is definitely not a low damage carry like a lot of people think.
I don't want people to think that.
Yeah.
Again, she's weak in the mid game, okay? That's like her biggest failing, is she's just not that strong in the mid game. But you look at a lot of AD carries, they are also kind of not all that strong in the mid game. Like, that is just a fact, right? Like, yes, Ash is going to do less DPS than a Kog'Maw or a Vayne or even Yunara, right? Because she doesn't have the Q auto attacks in team fights. But she can get single target shred down really easily, especially look at this game, right? Like, she can melt anyone in this game. It's not like late game is going to be an issue. So I hate this narrative. I hate the narrative that Ash is a low damage champ. Like, it can be, right? Especially, again, you are more utilized, like best utilized as a utility carry for a while in the game, because that's just how it is. But when you do get to your AD carrying phase at the very late game, when you have your items, you get to do quite a bit of damage.
Definitely. I played a lot of Ashe before. I love building the Kraken Slayer, getting a lot of attack speed, being able to do that single target shred. Very satisfying when you get to those damage power spikes. But something we still need to do. First time for quarterfinals. Let's go gambling once again. What Dragon Soul are you taking today?
Oh, Dragon Soul. Oh, I feel like Cupid actually do not want to give away individual Chemtech Drakes. So I'm going to go Chemtech, because I think allowing, any kind of tenacity, especially for Cupid. Maybe this is like the Cupid hate arc for some reason out of nowhere for game one, but the Chemtech Drake, specifically if Syndicate can start stacking those up individually, the tenacity is going to be genuinely insane this game with the amount of CC they have. So Chemtech Drake, I'm going with it.
All right, I like it. I think I'm going to go for Ocean. I want to see some extended team fights. I want to see them survive the Annie and the Ori burst. And I want to see these 80 carries pop off today. So go Ocean Soul and put that in the radar. Hopefully we have better luck this week.
Hey,
or at least
true.
I do.
That's true. Yeah. It's been a rough split for you. But
Yes, it has.
Bouncing off of your Ocean Soul, what's blue like the ocean? SYN Market, our sponsor here at Aegis. SYN Market is your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops in Japan, as well as place bid on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all your items safely into one box and can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 languages, which is why SYN Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat to try them out now. If you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 3,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. Thank you again to SYN Market. And why not a break? We're also blue here, so I think we've earned a break. We'll be right back with game number 1.
All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 here. Not a lot happening at level 1, but what are you expecting for this first game, Aussie?
Whoa. First of all, don't say there's not a lot happening at level 1. You know
Okay.
what happens.
I figured that wasn't a jinx. I didn't say early game. I just said level 1. No?
No, you never know. You never know, okay? We might actually see one of the craziest level 1s of our entire life. You can never be too careful here with AML, but specifically to talk about expectations this game, it actually is going to be that Mbessa going in the top lane, and we already see El Pafo with the Ignite. So if things are going to get spicy, well, why not there, where, the Renekton is one of the champions that really likes to dominate early, and with Ignite has a lot of kill pressure on the Mbessa, so if the Mbessa makes a misstep, it could be very difficult here for, Cupid, especially, their top side, to kind of recover this, because it's not like the Mbessa is ever going to get better into the side lane, into the Renekton, if the Renekton gets ahead. So you kind of do need to go even, bare minimum, right? Or just get barely behind, can't super bleed, but already some trading in the mid lane actually pretty heavily.
Yeah, not a bad start for the Annie here either. Going electrocute, getting a lot of good trades onto the Orianna, which we talked about the lane phase a lot, but that definitely is one of Orianna's strengths. So not only surviving, but thriving at the moment is very good look here for Cupid. Lots of fighting in the bot side too, but as you predicted, it is the Ashe and Lulu with control currently.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty trade in the mid lane here. Just trading back and forth. Now, Castek actually will win out on that trade, but a nice QW there. As Blush now actually cleansing off the slow there. For some reason, Panda goes up to ward and just leaves Blush out to dry in a 1v2 against an Ashe. Maybe not the best time to go find that ward, especially when you're going to be shoved in under tower.
Oh, Ignite comes out. There's first blood from the Renekton, already putting that Ignite to great use. I was wondering if Pafa was going to go for the dive there, but nicely done. Just calm, cool, collected, gets the tower plate, Ignite stun, and there it is. Nicely done.
I am super shocked they put the Mbessa into the Renekton, right? Like, that's one of their biggest, one of her counters, right? That initially was teched into her when she was super dominant in top lane. Now a dive in the bot.
Yeah, they're going after Panda here. Panda has to use the flash, but now they're in between towers. Trick's getting dangerously low. Blush getting so close to that one auto, but flash and Q will make Chill Savior take down the enemy jungler, but Loki trades one back onto Chill Savior. Now Flash is trying to cancel the auto attack, but does go down. Very scrappy fight, leaving only the supports left in the bot side.
I told you. You shouldn't have said anything. We have 5 kills. Oh, we might have another.
But here goes the Mbessa once again. This Renekton is putting a lot of pressure, as it is SYN coming out to an early lead.
We have another one, but look at this replay here, right? I think, unironically, here, there's no reason to see Chill Savior actually flash forward here. And it's a barrier plus shield coming out from Turk to keep Loki so far alive there, and just a little bit of extra damage coming in onto Blush really punishes out. As now, well, it's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. Junglers decided to show up. What is going on?
Down there, they both use their flash as well, but wild. This is I don't know. I still say I didn't curse it. I said level 1. We're beyond level 1.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a very high presence game for both these junglers. I love to see it. And every lane's shown some action so far, definitely.
I mean, yeah, we have every single person in this game besides Renekton, Emilio, and Lulu have a death. So just put that into perspective. We're at 5. The Drake just spawned.
Oh, and here's actually the dominance coming out too, as Renekton almost claims another one, but here's back on the bot side, Loki just walking Blush down. Not enough to get the kill, but maybe Skarner here to defend the dive. Flash forward as Poffo gets another one. 3-0 on the Renekton. I don't know if this is a fight that Trix wants to take. Definitely not, as the Croc will walk away with another tower dive.
Yeah, especially not in the way there. Poffo now looking. He actually missed the initial slice and dice. So
walking over to Poffo should be dead here. Give it to the Annie. Oh, but actually shutdown goes over to Trix. Slightly unfortunate, but at least you take down the Renekton.
Yeah, you do shut him down, but they definitely did try to give that over. Just unfortunate there, but again, it does happen. Nice shutdown, but it's Cupid on the back foot here in their top side. And, you know, I talked about the matchup with Mbessa. If the Mbessa gets behind, it can be very difficult for her to get back into this game, because the Renekton is going to have so much presence in this game, in the side lane against her, because of the lead. Now, we're looking at a 3-kill deficit for this Mbessa. And, well, she's sitting on some thrift store items right now. We are not happy if we are Mbessa right now, sitting on a ruby crystal, boots, and a cloth armor against this Renekton. And interestingly enough as well, she also opted in for the D Blade, right? So, still level 5.
Yeah, here's another fight, but 2 levels down just makes it so hard to play. And I know that feeling when you're like, I don't know how much else to buy. I'm not going to kill this guy. I'll just buy a ruby crystal. I'll buy a cloth armor. I'll try to not get dove again. And that's just such a bad feeling when you're in a sucky matchup like this.
It's literally the meme of your team just don't get dove. Like, just play safe. Just play safe under tower. But at this point, Renekton can just very easily dive. We've seen it twice now, right? Like, the Renekton has already dove her twice. Like, it is pretty brutal here, but now with public execution, should be able to at least stall out that dive potential. At least a little bit here, right? Like, that is possible here. So she should be able to sustain herself in the lane for a little bit longer than what we have been seeing, needless to say. But Pantheon Grand Starfall available. We could be looking at a dive on this next wave.
Yeah, definitely a risky spot to walk up at all, or even to not walk up at this point for the Mbessa. Just a risky spot in general, as being down about 1.3, 1.4k gold here. It's actually Tipper's coming out in the mid lane. I think just to help get some pressure, get some priority. The grubs are available, but it is Chill Savior and Poffo who get there first. I don't think that Cupid have much business contesting that at all.
Yeah, definitely no shot. But also you kind of see now, like, Annie's just kind of ripping their ult for poke damage in mid lane, rarely for a kill. Without jungler help, that is. Little asterisk on that. If jungler's nearby, then it will be. But El Poffo. Oh.
Yeah, there's the public execution just to make some distance. I guess that was kind of the most surefire way to get out there. But managed to stay alive, but that sucks to use that. Because like you said, that's your main tool against getting dove.
Yeah, it is really rough here, right? Like, the Mbessa actually can't even CS without basically trading half her HP. Now Trix
Bolero, but doesn't get pulled either. But now with the ultimate, Trix will take another. There's the Pantheon coming in behind with the Grand Starfall. Now 1v3 though. Chill Savior can't really do much. Should be able to get out with that Aegis Assault, mitigating damage. But nice 2 kills for Cupid, striking back.
I mean, yeah, Trixui actually on the Skarner is doing work. And look at this Enchanted Crystal Arrow setup. Finds the perfect target, right? Milio cannot ult himself if he's stunned. This is so well played by Cupid overall, and the double impale as well. I don't know where Chill Savior thought, like, how this play was going to go, but it was super late. And it's a win for Cupid on the bot side of the map, but again, bleeding in this top side means we have a pretty close game state here with the kills tied up 6-6. See our gold lead about 100 here for Cupid. First Drake still not to hold Castak. Nice flash.
Nice flash forced out, but Here is Trix trying to come in, but backup on both sides means that there's no real engagement. There's Tibbers, there's the cleanse. The Chill Savior should be able to walk away. Just a trade of the ultimates there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, thank God for Panda being there, because that could have been easily a flash burn from Pantheon or just a kill. But it should be, in theory, Cupid's Drake here to lose. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Panda still has flash here, so I don't think the same play we saw last time is going to happen. But Loki Dosi here on the Ashe is doing really well. 14 CS lead here, putting down the pressure onto Blush very heavily. Also going to be the
Dominus here. Here's Chill Savior as well. Flash is available. Full execution will keep the Mbessa alive just a second longer, but basically nothing you can do there with point and click CC, as Nute will go down once again. 0-4 on the Mbessa. Not a great start.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for Syndicate is just to keep pushing this lead, right? Like, your Yunar is going to scale. Obviously, if you can stem some of that bleeding, that would be appreciated. But look at how much you're getting across the map here. First tower's almost down at 12 minutes. Sure, you lost first Drake for it. Sure, your bot lane's a little bit behind. But you look at the lead in top lane, it's much larger here. As now Syndicate take just under...
Blush has to use the cleanse, but they baited it here. Now Chill Savior able to show up again with that Grand Starfall. Loki is shut down. Actually, maybe not had a bounty, but either way, shut down from their little bit of a hot streak there. Chill Savior will pick up another one, doing incredible on the Pantheon this game.
Yeah, 5 out of 8 kill participation, and that's the brilliance of Pantheon right now. Grand Starfall is just super annoying. Speaking of super annoying, Turk holding the wave here might be a bit annoying for Syndicate, but Nute on the top side is just having a rough one here.
Yeah, Pafo just able to slice and dice through the wave, walk right up, just out-trade while tanking every minion in the world. That is not a fun position for the Mbessa.
Definitely not. You're 2 levels down, right? Like, your gate lane is over. We are sitting on double ruby crystal longsword with tier 2 boots. Renekton has full eclipse, so this is brutal here. And again, this is a question I had, like, why not put Skarner topside, right? Like, I feel like forcing your Mbessa into this is not all that worthwhile. When you look at Skarner, well, maybe they find Tango.
Tango just walking right in, gets stunned up against the wall. Chain CC'd here and should go down.
Didn't ult.
Flash, but Flash follow and Turk will take the kill. Again, probably another one you wanted to give to the Annie, but either way, Orianna is slain.
Aztec just didn't want to ult there for so long. And again, like, the thing with, like, Annie, right? Like, you kind of, your ult is kind of your biggest damage output at the moment, because again, they reduced her, like, bursting stun, like, you know, how bursty she is as a champion overall. Just because, I don't know, Ryan just thought that. Oh my god, we walk forward?
In other lanes, yep, just ignite and taken down as the Impale actually will catch Blush on the bot side. Should be traded one back. Wild Growth used to keep Loki alive there. Make sure there was no threat onto the Ashe, but that is another one over to Cupid. Still 1 kill lead though for Syndicate.
I cannot believe Castec actually walked forward. Now they're going to miss their mid-tier 1 here. I mean, they're trading, but it's just not a worthwhile trade. It's not. Also, I can understand Castec trying to hold ult there because if, you know, you want your Malignance cooldown right before you have to deal with that, but at the same time, I don't know. I will be so honest here. Like, I think Cupid are in a very horrible position because I think this Renekton is going to be absolutely unanswered for a long time in this game. And you look across the board, scaling here for Syndicate is not bad. So if they have to spend a lot of resources answering this Renekton, trying to slow him down, well, you're just buying time for the other members who did get behind to start scaling themselves. Now, will be the Rod of Aegis Ori coming this game, which definitely not the highest damage output possible from your Orianna, but we'll give her a lot of survivability, which might be the difference maker in some of these fights.
Yeah, it definitely can be, and I'm a huge fan of these kind of like tankier mage builds, with the Roa, but in this game, I mean, your Renekton's ahead. He is kind of giving you that window to get into the mid game where you probably could build a lot greedier items and get away with it. So like you said, definitely not the highest damage, but see how it ends up working out here. It is one item completed now for Blush, as well as these 80 carries are going to be coming online for these next objective fights. Next dragon up in 15 seconds. One cloud down. I can't see what this one is, but what's the progress on our gambling? I'm curious.
What is progress? I mean, we love gambling around here. Looks like the Infernal. So unless that's also not working, in which I guess we'll find out once they take the strike. Hey, it's Cupid. Oh,
yeah, but I'm still in the running.
That's true.
Praying for an ocean.
That's true. We're praying for an ocean. What's it going to be? Oh, it's Infernal.
Oh, so we're both wrong game one. We still have potentially 4 more. I'm hopeful.
Oh, potentially 4 more. So you think we're going to game 5? Okay. I see you.
Well, even though Syndicate have been, crushing the early game here, Cupid has kept the game close. The gold lead's not that far away. I'm curious what it'll turn into,
I mean, that's true. And also, I won't lie, they are kind of starting to collect some of the standing gold as well that I feel like they kind of could have been denied. Teleport coming through from Kaztech to prevent the bot tier 1 from falling. So, in terms of towers, they are even, of course. They're missing their mid lane one, which does kind of hurt a little bit, but comparatively, right, like they have kind of been able to stabilize here a little bit, but realistically, Ilpafo on the Renekton, right? I still feel like his strength in the side lane is unmatched right now, but he is very wary about stepping up to this top tier 2, so maybe rotating him into bot would be a bit better for you. I'm gonna take his reset here on 600 gold. Not sure what he has no item to buy, but he is sitting on 2 items, so that's pretty nice. We'll see if they actually do put this Renekton bot. Looking like he's running out topside though, so maybe not utilizing and translating a lot of the Renekton in this mid game now is now ganking the bot side.
Oh, yeah, Trix trying to go under the tier 2 tower here. Does get the Impale onto Tango. Should just go down. There's the, actually Pantheon coming in here. Chill Savior wanting to try and trade back on.
Oh, the arrow is insane!
Arrow catches Popo on the backside. Trix with a double kill. Here's our Renekton, but 1v4 is not really where you want to be. Has to slice and dice out of there. Now walking back forward, but definitely just a pure win there for Cupid. They get 2, and the Renekton can't really be the difference maker.
My god, the arrow hitting Renekton is so brutal here, because if the Renekton doesn't get stunned, there's a chance, right? There's a chance he can just go berserk in that fight. But it stalls him for so long. And it gives Cupid just enough window to get everyone back out to safety. And it is a completely winning play for Cupid on the back end. So fantastic gameplay coming through from across the board, right? Finding the initial play onto Tango, not overplaying, not overstepping. Loki Dosi from mid lane with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which ended up hitting Ilpafo at the best possible time. It is just such an absurd play, I think, for Syndicate that they just simply did not see coming.
Yeah, I mean, definitely perfect execution there from Cupid. They knew what they wanted. They used exactly the number of tools that they needed to get it done. And, great arrow from Loki. Definitely the MVP of that play in my eyes. But next dragon up here in just over 1 minute 30. So we should see some setup pretty soon from both teams. But the main question I want to ask you, because it's something I've asked a couple times in the last couple weeks. Oh, never mind. No time for that, as behind the tower, Panda will go down from the AoE damage from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow there after a little bit of burst from Kaztech. But wow, yeah, Cupid just forcing these plays and getting it done.
Yeah, you're not allowed to ask me anything, obviously. But yeah, really good play there.
Here.
Yeah, surely we have some time where I can talk, but we have an invade, so it's not technically over just yet. Chill Savior, alright, does create enough distance there. Was a little worried. Was a little worried that we were going to get another play, but what were you going to ask me?
Well, something I like to think about with these top laners is we've seen them get leads so often, and they're so bad at translating it, or sometimes it's really hard to translate it. So we've seen Pafo try a couple times now, but what do you think he has to do to make sure that this lead over Nute actually really matters?
I mean, the thing was, right, like I mentioned, like I would have liked to see him go bot lane, right? Like, utilize the strength of your Renekton to get the standing gold for your team, right? The Orianna cannot step up bot lane. Like, she just can't. She will just die. In fact, we saw her die right next to her tower. Oh, Baron Flip is actually incoming potentially. They are missing pinging this, that this is a possibility. Hawkshot is there. They also have the orb blue trinket to, get that one as Nute. 2 levels down still, but we'll pick up this top wave easy peasy. There will be no Baron Flip, so the excitement dies down. Another dragon going in the pocket of Cupid. But strictly talking about, like, I would have just liked them to see this Renekton go bot, right? Because again, the Renekton in like the side lane and a longer lane like that has a much better chance, and it's far less easy to pick than something like the Orianna. Oh, Proto Belt Orianna with Roa is just that we are in peak 20, like season 2026 gaming right now. Season 16 gaming in the mid lane. Double Proto Belt this game. Annie Proto Belt. Man, I wish people would stop building Proto Belt every game, because I feel like people miss the plot about why you're building. You should be building it, because Chovy builds it every time. Because Chovy does it every time, but like even for Chovy, it's not really working out that much. So, but neither here nor there. That's the options this game. I don't hate it on Ori this game because specifically, right, like public execution, right, you can actually utilize the thing to kind of sidestep that ability, so not bad. Same thing with like Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So it does prevent you from getting picked. Again, it just looks awkward, but it's basically just Gale Force, right? Like, it's just Gale Force. So we'll see. We'll check in on how it's utilized here later. As Baron, only thing to play for Nute by getting some seconds of breathing time as Chill Savior. Ooh, nice sidestep.
Manages to not get stunned up against the wall there. And just a little bit earlier, we actually had Cowtech's flash traded for the Grand Starfall. Was in some danger on that top side, so had to use that. But
look at the wraparound here.
Getting the wraparound onto Loki, that is the main target. Actually getting stunned up and chain CC'd. Takes down the Annie. Will go down the Impale onto 2. Here's the Mbessa as Loki, with those fancy feet, has been doing so much work. Enchanted Crystal Arrow into the public execution. Makes Panda meet his fate under the tier 2 tower as Cupid completely roll over the team fight.
I mean, this is just an insane team fight here, and it looked kind of discombobulated from Syndicate, right? Like, the Renekton goes in all alone. Like, where is his team when he goes in? Maybe he goes a little bit too early here, right? Like, I thought, like, the instant turnaround from Cupid to focus on, well, Kaztech is actually, buying time for his team there with the rest of them, holding them up, right? Stunning them, holding down the choke. Yes, does it ultimately die, but as Annie, you're not really there to try and win the team fight. You're there to kind of be utility. And, well, we talked about Ashe damage. He didn't seem to have an issue getting through that Renekton right there. And, I mean, also MVP is the polymorph straight into Skarner's E combo, right? Like, so many things went right for Cupid there, and it was off of the back of fantastic coordination and not panicking in the face of this giant crocodile.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the level lead actually equalized here between these two top laners, which is far too often the story, but Grand Starfall will provide some backup here for Pafo, now in a 2v1 against Mbessa. Trying to get over the wall, does flash, but it's followed. Here's the pick that they wanted, but they are losing 2 towers for it. So I don't know if that trade is really worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you will take whatever you can get if you're Syndicate right now, because at the very least, right, when they don't have numbers, that does kind of stall out their Baron push a little bit, right? Like, you will take any kind of stall, so that way, you know, they kind of waste their Baron, right? Like, that is a very valid strategy here. Yes, they ultimately lose towers, but I think they lose the towers regardless. So still not a bad trade, right? You kind of waste some Baron time here from Cupid, but we'll be Nute back up here for this dragon, so not the best timed pick, but again, does at least waste Baron time, which is something you are looking at as a team trying to turtle, because the enemy team has Baron. Well, turtling is a lot harder, clearing those waves because of the amount of resistances and how tanky the minions can get from the Baron buff. So for Syndicate, not a bad look, but I do need to answer soon, because I'm not going to lie, I feel like time is ticking here. Yes, I talked about how their team doesn't scale all that poorly, and it doesn't. But you look across the board, right? Ashe sitting on four items, right? Maybe the go button here for Syndicate is you're waiting for your IE on your Inara. That would be kind of where I'm at. I'm like, hey team, we're in a losing position right now. I'm probably not getting my 4th item this game if I'm Inara. We should just send it as soon as I get IE and look for a positive play. That would be where my mind is at if I'm it.
Yeah, I mean, they can keep looking for these side lane plays, as we saw them do on Tenute a minute ago, but it is just really hard at this stage of the game. You know, you've lost most of your outer towers, you've lost most of the dragons the last 2 in a row, and it is just hard when you don't have much pressure, which is why, like you were suggesting, maybe they should have tried to force some pressure with Renekton when he did have that insanely large lead just a little bit earlier on. But we'll flip to the other side. What do you think Cupid have to do to press their advantage and win the game?
Well, Baron. Oh, Kaztek is in trouble. That is... Wow.
Oh, I guess not going for it.
Tragic. Because that is genuinely tragic. He was going to go for it, but I think he got scared because of the vision clearing happening in the top side. Thought he couldn't get that kill in time, but man, that is brutal. Doesn't know Dominus. Oh, they find out Loki. Oh,
yeah, but here's the chain CC. Loki has no problem taking down the Croc, the Impale as well, and that is both of your frontliners gone already. There's a double kill for Loki, and actually a little bit of burst damage coming onto Blush as Kaztek trying to make another play. Makes sure that Tango goes down. Here's Trix trying to catch the AD carry, forces out the ultimate, but alas, it looks just like more tragedy here for Syndicate. They're not able to hold the fight, as actually, I think I did see a disconnect. The game will be paused. Interesting.
Yeah, Nute did disconnect. Honestly, I thought it was going to be really funny if Cupid just managed to not pause at all while Nute was disconnected. I thought it was going that way, but no, they were just trying to get out of combat. But again, I feel like Cupid's coordination around like fights and like managing threats here has been absurd. The instant turnaround. Also, I just want to point out, maybe if we had Dominus, that could have potentially been a dead Ashe. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe perhaps you buy enough time for Pantheon to Grand Starfall in. So unfortunate usage there. But again, I think Cupid, they've been playing around this Fed Renekton super well. Like Loki, super respectful towards it, does initially get gone on by Il Pafo there regardless. But the response from his team is just insane. Also, like his spacing with the Pantheon, right, was genuinely disgusting. How, he was able to position himself around the Orianna ball right on the very edge. So if the ball, inevitably shockwaved, you were able to sidestep out of it, which he did. Loki is playing this Ashe superbly. And if this is a sign of things to come with Cupid's team fighting, I really worry here for Syndicate in the series.
Me too. I was very surprised to see Syndicate come out swinging so hard. Puffo getting such a big lead on the top side. Even Blush and Panda not doing too bad on the bot side. But it really just has taken a turn for the worse since we got to the team fighting stage. It really has been Loki for me, just putting on an absolute show here with Turk to back them up on the other side. But yeah, I mean, it's just really hard to play in this stage of the game. Baron coming up in 30 seconds. And as you said, that probably is Cupid's best chance at pushing this forward and winning. Now 5 items on this AD carry. Should just make these team fights a cakewalk at this point.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy. Also now with the Bloodthirster, like her survivability is going to be even more insane thanks to the lifesteal. I don't see a world where Syndicate can contest this, but at the very least, right, Blush now has IE, right? Like, if this is going to be a moment in time where Syndicate can come back, it has to be now, because she's not, like, Blush is not finishing this next item, right, if they don't start winning something, right? So this is your best possible chance. Hawkshot coming through might actually catch them. Actually does not, but Blue Trinket coming through will see them, and a lot of priority in mid lane seeded as now this death ball run. Oh, nice. Sidestep there from Tango. So avoid the stun from Kaztech.
Yeah, but here's Skarner's coming through the wall, so tanky on the front line here. As now it is Syndicate looking for an engage here. They get onto the Annie, but so much healing. And there's the cleanse as well, just taking down Pafo. Which front line is better? I think I have a good idea. Skarner still standing now. Both frontliners gone from Syndicate, as they should just get ran over. Znute takes down one, and soon to be a second here once they get on to Panda. And, good look there from Syndicate, honestly, but they were just down too much gold to win a fight at this point.
I mean, it's not a bad fight, right? But again, Loki is untouched, right? Like, that is the real carry in this game. It's Loki. Loki is just sitting over there, free hitting over the wall. I mean, Syndicate put themselves in a really awkward position going for a bot lane jungle invade, right? As, like, they had already ceded all control in the mid lane, but it's Cupid. Yes, it was shaky on the top side, but everywhere else was winning. And the team fighting from Cupid this game was genuinely immaculate. Like, I don't think I have any criticism whatsoever towards Cupid's team fighting that game. It was just perfect. Absolutely perfect, right? Loki was afforded all the space in the world. Even when it looked like Il Pafo had multiple, instances to where he could have that impact, find that, maybe potentially game-turning play for his team to kill out Loki. But it didn't matter because Lulu's there with the polymorph, Skarner's there, with a potential impale, or even, he's kind of pushing you into a wall, pinning you against that wall, can't do anything because you're suppressed. And it's just, that was disgusting team fighting across the board. I am genuinely impressed by Cupid's team fighting. And of course, we see here Loki, top of the damage meters, of course. 32k, 12k ahead of anyone on his team. So really well played. And again, Il Pafo, the biggest thing, and you mentioned that, we have really seen top laners struggle to actually translate any leads. Now, for Renekton, it is kind of a thing of a champion thing. You don't necessarily get to translate leads that heavily into the late game. That's not what your champion's designed to do. But at the very least, I felt like they underutilized him in the mid game, right? When we were talking about the bot lane tier 1, right? It's minimal, but it adds up, right? That's extra gold to your team, right? It kind of takes some pressure off of your team as well, right? The Skarner might want to be trying to look bot to try and punish out this Renekton who's pushing his tier 1. Right, which means the rest of your team is not getting collapsed on. Tango is not getting collapsed on under his tier 2. Right,
Yeah.
All of this breathing time that you desperately needed could have come through this Renekton, but I feel like they just didn't utilize it well enough, and they got disgustingly punished for it by Cupid.
Definitely. But I will say, Aussie, I thought Ashe was a low damage carry. I don't know.
Ashe low damage carry. Low damage. This is a very greedy build as well, though. Like this is a Yuntal's Ashe, so. But I mean, really well played. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. I think I know who my MVP is, but I'm assuming you'll agree with me. But I'm going to give the MVP to Loki.
Yeah, I think that's number one. I think that's pretty. I want to shout out here, kind of side shout out, is Nute went down forever in that lane, but still, when team fights came through, able to find impact on the backline. Like, yes, he was put in a really bad lane. Like, he should not have been winning it. He did not win it. But he still found more impact in this game than the Renekton, who did get all of those kills. So props to Nute for the bounce back, but obviously MVP for sure going to Loki there. I like the spacing was insane. I think you can kind of, say Turk's usage of Polymorph was insane this game as well. Trixui was fantastic, both being an engage tool and the appeal tool here when necessary. Played that line perfectly, but Loki, you get it for space gliding, because, it was nice to watch. And you did most damage on your team. You went 11-2. 10 out of 10.
Nicely done. Wow, yeah, we just got some stats. They are very, very high on the rankings for kill participation among their roles for most of Cupid. But very impressive team, and I can definitely see why from this game number one.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll take a break. Don't go anywhere before we get ready for this next draft. I'm sure it's going to be spicy. And again, for Cupid, I think if I'm going to criticize anything, maybe we consider the Ambessa not going top. That would be my criticism. Still an immaculate game. Let's see if they can continue that performance, or if it's Syndicate bouncing back and giving us a series.
マーケットは迅速な発送ですぐにお届けします。あ、6セット？
大丈夫？
でも直接来てくれたの？
これ
って
漫画みたいだったね。
しかも今衣装着てるし、花でもあれば完璧なのに。
完璧だよ。壊れ物だから自分で届けたかったんだ。
あなたって完璧。ありがとう、全マーケット。
All right, short break into draft number 2. Cupid ahead by 1 game. And reminder, as always, Fearless means we're not seeing any of those same champions again. We do see some very similar bans, though, and a Karma first pick with Syndicate now on blue side.
Well, they are going to take away the pairing there, and it's actually going to be Ezreal Nami here for Cupid. We did talk about the strengths of pairings and how important it is to get AD carries and bot supports to be picked together, but it's going to be the Sivir Karma into the Ezreal Nami. Now, we have been seeing the Ezreals take lethal tempo. They kind of hard stomp their lane early. We'll see if Cupid, I mean, Loki, specifically was kind of a big proprietor of that, was dominating his lane. Let's see if he can do it again into the Sivir. I want to see if, he can get that done against Sivir Karma, where Karma, yes, she's been nerfed a couple times, tapped down where she needed to. Still incredibly dominant. Now you're starting to see some, Karma supports, opting into Q max because he has been nerfed a few times here. So maxing Q gives you more wave clear, more damage. So we'll see what happens in that lane. But we have a Nivea versus Ryze. Nivea definitely more favorable in that matchup than anything, but still punishable, right? Definitely not a one-stop shop or instant win hack here as a counter pick. Can definitely be a bit unfortunate for the Ryze, but Aniveo's still punishable because she is a mobile, right? You get into Egg, you're kind of defenseless, so we'll see how it does this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be a little bit scared if I was Cupid, honestly, looking at this. They have Karma, they have Sivir, they have Ryze. I mean, Karma and Ryze are two very high priority picks right now, and SYN got both of them. Not to mention that both Sivir and Ryze are low range, but very high damage carries once you get into the mid game there. So they might struggle a little bit with range, but that DPS will be crazy if either or both of them can get to a few items in that team fighting phase. We did see Cupid come out on top in terms of team fighting, very much so in game number 1. But I think if SYN do have a chance to take it back, it could be with Sivir and Ryze.
Yeah, I think also, right, whenever you see Ezreal, picking a tank is not a bad thing to do, as it turns out, because he struggles to get into that. And it will be the Kayn coming out for Cupid, and we have seen Kayn, well, pop up maybe more times than I would like to admit, aka not 0, but it depends on how well you do on this champ, right? It can be really annoying. Karma can be super annoying with Tether. Play against, you're also not a champion until you get formed. That is a very big concern. Unless you get a super early lead, which we saw basically insanely happen in the past. Like, almost never happens, but if you can get a lead as base form Kayn, you can kind of take over the game from that point. But Ornn will be the lock-in here for Syndicate, and I said talk about, slam the tank. Ezreal kind of struggles. Well, the tank there for Syndicate going to be the Ornn and the Wukong. So actually not a bad front line here, and you pair well with the Karma as the Wukong. So I'm actually excited by Syndicate's draft here. I think they've drafted themselves into a really nice draft, and Cupid continue to keep it going a little bit on the weirder side. Camille going to be the counter pick into the Ornn. A lot of side lane presence here from Cupid that we didn't necessarily get to see last game because, well, Nute got super far behind. But now Nute should be, in theory, having a much easier time in this game.
I'm really interesting. I love Syndicate's draft. I think they got so many winning matchups here. I mean, obviously not top lane, but what are you going to do against R5 counter pick? So I think it will just be up to Pafo to kind of survive the lane. And if the Ornn is able to play anything like the Renekton, should be pretty easy to not only survive, but maybe even get a little bit ahead here, as Ornn's laning phase is notoriously not that weak. Not as weak as it should be, at least in my opinion. But they definitely have a really good front line, great scaling, high damage carries, good engage, plus an enchanter. I really like what I'm seeing for Syndicate this game. But Cupid definitely have a little bit of X factor as well. You mentioned the side lane pressure. The Kayn can always do Kayn things if allowed to be unleashed and unlocked on the map. So I'll hold my judgments for now.
Yeah, I do want to point out for Cupid, a little question mark about their draft is starting fights may be a little difficult. Just a tiny bit difficult. Where Wukong or don't seem to have that struggle all too much. So Thankfully, you do have decent counter engage thanks to Tidal Wave. You have Anivia to just space control. She's super annoying in that fact. But you also have Ornn who can break the wall thanks to his E. So that actually might not play as big of an impact as otherwise hoped in this game. We actually saw Anivia support come through as a counter pick into Sivir because of how your Q works. And also, she's immobile, so the wall actually does disgusting things to her, and I'm sure the people playing against it may be disgusting things to their mental, because they're like, how am I supposed to play against this? I can't win. But we'll see what the impact comes in from Cupid. I am a little worried. They're going to spice your draft here for them. A little abnormal. But if you are looking at Cupid's draft and you're like, hey, they get the priority, they're at places first, right? The Anivia has so much space control that it can be a little difficult to try and find those engages without getting poked out. Also, on the you have the Ezreal right there, right? Like the Ezreal is going to be poking you down as you try to enter. On top of that, now the Ornn might not care. The Wukong can care though, right? Like he's definitely not the tankiest champion in the roster of League Champions. Surprising, I know. Like the Bruiser is not the tankiest person in the game. Shocker, but maybe the Ornn will be okay. But even then, right, we've actually seen Anivia's be able to shred through tanks on her own. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not.
Yeah, and before we get into game number 2, or rather the break before game number 2, we got to do our Dragon Soul. Both of us were wrong for game number 1. So what are you thinking here for game number 2?
Cloud, Sivir in the game. Cloud, easy peasy. Lock that one up.
There you go. Love the synergy. I might double down on Ocean. Like, eventually it's got to be right.
You're pulling out my strap from a while. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the extended fight power, honestly, of both these teams so far. So I'll see if that actually comes out in this game number 2. But I think that will do it for us. We'll go to a little break before we'll see you on the Rift. See you then. All right, on to game number 2. I won't say anything regarding action, but what I will ask you is, do you think that Cupid are going to go up once again, or do you think that SYN are striking back?
I mean, SYN have a really solid comp to bounce back with, so I will just set the stage this way. If Syndicate don't win this game, right, I fear for the series for them overall, right? I think they had the better comp this go around, right? I think that's pretty agreeable. I feel like of course we have like some individual counter matchups here, right? Like the Anivia into the Rise, the Camille into the Ornn. So, you know, side laning will be a bit annoying for them maybe potentially later. But like in terms of like genuinely like fighting and team fighting and general like comp synergy, I really think Syndicate have a good draft. So if they can't get it done this game, right? Like I worry heavily for their chances in the series. But we have an entire game to play ahead of us. Kaztek already kind of making a couple errors here on the Anivia. Would have maybe looked for solo kill. But,
yeah, definitely threatening up there in the mid lane. By far the most volatile matchup we've seen so far. But what do you think? We did have a side swap. Do you think that's going to play into anything, or is it more just a matter of how the champs get picked?
I mean, to be honest, I think this game side swap kind of whatever. I feel like Syndicate, I feel like got everything they wanted this draft in the first place. They get Karma, they get Rise, right? So I feel like for Cupid, they obviously seem kind of unbothered as well by it. So I would imagine the side swap really wasn't a big deal. But well, who's to say? Who's to say? Maybe we'll get a series where blue side wins, and it's Cupid basically coming out ahead because of that, which would be really boring, by the way. Like really, really boring if it's just blue side wins. But that seems pretty impossible in today's league, thanks to Fearless and things like that. Oh, Nute!
Wow! Gets the revenge for game number 1 with the Ignite this time. Nute will pick up the first blood, as now we have a little bit of a jungle scrap here. Trix is already a level up on Chill Savior. Definitely has the pressure in that matchup. Will be taking the top side crab, but either way, more in the spotlight. Nute gets revenge. Nicely done.
Oh, nice heal return. They do need to be careful. Oh, nice bubble.
But the bubble lands. And like you said, the lethal tempo does make it very dangerous. Loki flashes forward, looking for that kill. Tether will not connect. But, oh, this might spell disaster for Cupid here. Chill Savior moved down from that topside skirmish, is here now. Does get sped up by the Inspire and will take down Loki on the other side, evening up the kills 4 minutes in.
Well, nice little gank bot lane there. But to talk about the strength of Ezreal with lethal tempo, like we see it there, right? Like, he actually is just winning simply by auto-attacking. Like, the strength of lethal tempo Ezreal early is just disgusting. New Day also really good shield proc there to prevent the brittle damage, which would have been majority of the damage going into him. So well played there in the topside trade, and well played from, you know, Chill Savior to, well, get things going for SYN. Nice little return, alleviate some of that bot lane pressure. But as we know, Ezreal having one of the best 2-item spikes in the game. Triforce, Mirror Mana. Truly one of the most iconic spikes we have in this game.
Not a bad trade here on the top side. Pafo having to disengage, actually having to flash away. Nute getting that Q2, might have been able to flash after, but opting to not go for it. But definitely winning this matchup. Gets to choose the counter pick on R5 there, and it's definitely making the most of it.
Yeah. Again, I think for Cupid, their side lanes are great. So this could be disastrous. Here is actually speaking of
lands onto Panda. Loki going in with that lethal tempo, has to flash away.
Oh, you misses actually.
Flush getting
the damage is insane.
Yeah, Loki doing so much work there, but here are both junglers for backup, and I think Loki will just get off scot-free. But actually, Trick forward gets the dash and gets the kill onto Panda. Cupid definitely winning out on that trade.
I mean, this is just really well played, and Ezreal's early game damage, I think, needs to be looked at by Riot. Like, it is genuinely disgusting the amount of like how hard he can trade in the early game. Like, we look back at this, right? Like there goes the spell shield, and it's just really well played. Like Rising Spell Force plus lethal tempo. Even though he misses his Q, he still wins this, by the way. Even with the Q miss, of course, minions helping him out there, pretty big wave, but it's still insane the amount of damage he gets to do early game on a champion that scales pretty hard off of 2 items, right? He spikes super crazy once he gets 2 items, so... And Blush maybe not necessarily in the know about just how much damage this champ gets to do. Nami also aiding that fact, thanks to her E damage, which can be annoying. And Trixui finds an invade.
Yeah, invade, Chill Savior are definitely on the back foot here, walled off, but I think we'll just walk away now. So one thing I want to ask you is, I don't think I've seen the Ezreal Nami pairing before. Is this common, or how does this differ from something like the Corki?
I mean, so you kind of just... Nami is just a really flexible support, right? Like, she's just good with a lot of AD carries. Is now Castech trading in the mid lane, although has egg, so really not a big deal to be trading this hard. Also taking a reset right now, so... but more on Nami, again, she's kind of just a really flexible support, right? You're not ever too pressed if you have a Nami as an AD carry. You get extra damage, right, on your abilities, right? Nice bubble coming through. Just for some additional poke here. And, the E is kind of the strength in the lane for you. Also, the sustain, right? Like, shields are great, but if you have enough damage to get through the shielding early... Right, you'd much rather prefer the sustain because it actually is more effective HP. Oh my god, by the way, that is just...
That damage!
Like, okay.
Oh, Chill Savior. Trying to walk up here. Actually has some backup from Tango. There's the Umbral Trespass, allowing Trix to get out just a little bit longer, but now turning it. So much healing. Chill Savior has to get away. Shadow Step into the wall.
Oh, the bubble!
Actually canceled by the bubble. Value of the Nami goes way up as Loki will take another kill. Chill Savior also caught out by Kaztech and will be taken down by the bird. Things are coming up all Cupid in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really well played. Trixui, well known for Kane, and also just playing it to the T there. And Turk actually hitting the bubble on the rise in the ult. Gives them another kill over the Ezreal, right, who got ganks, went down initially. Should have alleviated this pressure on bot lane, but instead it's been the opposite. He's 2-1, and now top lane is bleeding as well.
Hextech ultimatum into the Ignite. Under tower will do it, and definitely getting some revenge here in game number 2. Dives the Ornn. Nicely done.
Ooh, I know LS is not happy about this. Going towards the Sunfire Cape. I know there are some people who are not a fan of this item. They think it's useless. And I won't lie, well, into Camille it might actually be useless because you can't really do much against true damage. This item? Not saying that anything else you're buying is dealing with true damage, because that's not true, but maybe something like we usually see, like the Unending Despair first item, which has been talked about by some of the theory crafting and more outspoken individuals about the game, potentially could have been an option here. But maybe the wave clear is what he's looking for, simply just so Camille doesn't eat the towers instantly. She at least has to work for it. Nice trade in mid lane there from Kaztech.
Nice trades here in the bot side as well, as the tether will connect. There's another bubble, but I think it will just be raiding back and forth. Arcane Shift utilized, so Loki doesn't have great follow ability. Now Blush might be just a little bit too far away. But the first dragon of the game is still up here, 10 minutes in. It's not been claimed by either side. I think bot and mid have have been just a little bit too volatile to have enough pressure to really go for the objective.
Yeah, I think right now, also Trixui, super big CS lead here on the Kane, has the Eclipse now. But you also, as Cupid, it is kind of hard to do early objectives when your Kane doesn't have form yet, right? You don't necessarily feel the most comfortable. With the item advantage, you might, especially now that we're seeing resets come through for their bot lane. As soon as they get back, they might just pull it. We'll see what happens here. As Trixui's top camps are coming up, as Ezreal's walking out of base. But we're seeing, you know, basically across the board backs coming through here for Cupid. So I'd imagine we have a Drake in the cards. Oh my goodness, the XP lead is insane.
Trix trying to just push Chill Savior out for now. Might be starting up the dragon here. We will get Kaztek back on the map here soon, but Pafo getting low under the tower again. Will summon up the Ornhorn, just trying to counteract any threat of a dive, I think. Maybe trying to clear the wave a little bit too, but it is pretty rough in this position. Not as rough as the Mbessa, but definitely not fun here in the top side.
I want to point out, Nute actually baited that. Now Tango is okay. Yeah, well, actually forced to ghost there. Or felt like it was needed, but Nute actually baiting out the Call of Fortune there because he gets Q2 ready, and he actually ends up utilizing it on a minion instead of utilizing it on the Ornn, who was right next to, like, they were right next to each other. As now Panda in danger.
In range. What's going on? Tries to flash away, but should just go down on the bot side here.
Oh, the lethal tempo.
Tempo coming in. What? Savior flashes out, but is traded back by Kaztek. Action all over the map as the Umbral Trespass will claim one for Trix in the top side as well. Death all over, and it is all Syndicate going down 3-0.
We'll get a look back at this bot side. Panda tries to trade with the Ezreal. I'm not sure you realize you lose this as a support, even if Nami's not here, right? Like, if Nami's not there, it doesn't matter, but I actually want to look at mid lane. Like, Chill Savior ends up going over the wall. Like, he initially got walled away from the Anivia, but put himself in that position. That is insane. I have no clue what's happening here for Syndicate, but they are falling apart across the map, right? This Ezreal now has Triforce. The tier is almost finished stacking up here for this Ezreal. Does have a little bit to go in terms of getting that item completion. So that's gonna take a while. Well, Panda might just be dead again. There's no flash.
Yeah, so. Poor support, kind of just stuck. No flash after that last play too.
Oh, they're looking to give it to Loki, actually.
Oh, but Turk actually takes it with the bubble. Doesn't go over either of the carries, but yeah, I mean, nice catch there. It has really just been Cupid dominating this. Maybe we kind of jinxed it by saying that SYN's draft was really good and that Cupid's was really weird, but they're showing that they really have the tools to get it done. I mean, I guess the only concern we still have is how they're going to start fights later, but who needs to start fights if you're just 5,000 gold ahead at 14 minutes?
Yeah, because if the enemy team tries to start, oh, Tango, oh, goodness. Oh my.
Has to flash there. But yeah, I mean, everything just coming up Cupid.
Look at this bot lane vision. Oh my god, Tango almost actually dies.
Nearly dead. Does have the egg here for Kaztek if they do end up going down, but Cyclone actually will cancel the dash there from Trix, but nowhere to run. Another one over to the Anivia. On the top side, Hectic Ultimatum. Here's the Ignite onto Pafo as well. Camille just running down the Ram, and the top side will flash Q2 and take him down. Once again, Cupid are dominating.
Well, now that their top lane issue is figured out for last game, it is just... they look like the better team easily, right? Like, they are not sweating at all. It is 12-1. And the only reason the one kill happened is because Chill Savior was bot side after a very close 2v2, in which Cupid were winning anyways. So, it is all gas, no brakes here for Cupid in game 2. Where literally no single person on their team is faltering. This pesky Ezreal ruining their perfect game. As I mean, you know, we'll have to check in later, right? Like, let's see if someone else does die this game. And then we can drop the perfect game narrative. But so far, they've gotten every jungle objective, you know, in this game. They have yet to drop a tower. And they've all not died except this Ezreal. So we could have been looking at a perfect game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was that close. Loki didn't have that one death, but what do you think about these side lane matchups? I'm not sure which team initiated this, but now we have Anivia into Ornn and Camille into Rise, which I think is very interesting.
I mean, I don't think Anivia cares. Like, she's happy to just sit here clear waves, right?
That's
like,
true.
She does not care, and Rise also very, very susceptible to just getting gone on. Also, look at this damage. Oh my god.
Yeah,
oh,
I think it's Ornn who should care. There's the bubble and the tidal wave used there, but just taking down this tank. Supposed to be a brick wall on the top side,
It's
but
full
no
armor.
magic resistance. Yeah, will just spell disaster for the Syndicate top laner once again. Yeah, there's the On the Hunt used. There's Inspire as well. This team is moving very quickly, rooted up here for Trix, trying to get something back. Syndicate trying to make their play. Humble Trespass will keep Trix alive. Just comes back out with a full health bar. Not much threat to be seen there. Trix still trying to get away. Will go down at the very end of it, but it's a double kill for Loki as well. Trying to reset. Probably won't mean much here for Panda. Now trying to speed away. See. Gets the healing off, but it will just be a third kill for Loki and a second drag for Cupid.
Well, very unfortunate here for Syndicate as they try to find the pick onto Trixui, but it's the pesky freaking Kane champ with Umbral Trespass. He gets to just buy so much free time, and his entire team comes up. Yes, they get the kill. Chill Savior uses everything to try and get that. But it's Cupid coming out so far ahead. They get the spot tier 2 on top of that. 2 items here for your Camille, 2 items for your Kane, 2 items for your Anivia, 2 items now for your Ezreal when I talked about one of the best spikes in the entire game. I mean, heck, even Turk working towards his second item almost completed.
But here might be caught up. The Ornn Horn is used to try and push them off. But what I will say is, first off, congratulations. It looks like you were correct about our Dragon Soul. So nice job gambling there. But my main takeaway from that fight was, I'm pretty sure if Nute used the Hextech ultimatum on Chill Savior instead of on Blush, it could have stayed a near perfect game. I think that probably would have saved.
True, but it doesn't matter.
Life.
The perfect game doesn't matter.
Yeah, Chill Savior is gone. Just deleted after being walled off. Turk taking the Rift Herald in, but yeah, I mean, it's Cupid just pushing this advantage. Tango getting burst down, now walled off, has to flash, but here's the pesky Kane once again. Rooted up, might be getting down pretty low here. Blush finally doing some damage to the front line of Cupid, but pushing up maybe just a little bit too far. They don't have the resources to do anything yet, as everyone manages to stay alive on Cupid.
Yeah, I mean, Loki is just, oh my goodness, leave Panda alone, bro.
No way.
He's gonna die for it.
For that though, as Nute will get shut down, and definitely far from a perfect game now.
Yeah. No perfect game coping. You know, Loki, you're safe. You're safe. Hey, not quite sure why Nute thought it was. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, this guy just doesn't stop with the movement. Insane. Gets the now double
The
kill.
game is over right here.
Yeah, it should just be the end of the game. I was not expecting that, but gets the Q, gets the auto attack onto Blush.
There's no way.
No player anymore. Maybe not the end of the game, but Loki wants more. Just feeling it in this quarterfinal series. Man, someone's got to stop this AD carry.
Hey, if Nute actually didn't die for Panda, they actually can end here because they can actually just go all in on Tango and kill him, and then they just end the game because the Camille damaged the towers. But unfortunate. This would have been easily the fastest game in AML by probably a few minutes, not a couple minutes, a few minutes, if that came to fruition. And that's kind of just a testament to how far ahead Cupid are in this game, and more importantly, just how strong this team is. There's a reason they're first seed in the first place. And, well, they're showcasing that very easily in this game number 2, as they take the Baron basically on spawn. Did spawn in 45 seconds ago. They had to get their resets in first. But they get their resets, immediately go to Baron, and now do Syndicate have enough wave clear at 21 minutes right now to clear this? Is pressing forward.
I mean, here's the fight. This is what really matters, but the Ornhorn 2 is interrupted, and this Ornn is just falling. Cyclone on the backline does buy a little bit of space, but Trix is just buying so much time by himself. Managed to heal right at the end there, and it will just be Syndicate falling down to Loki, just pushing this game forward. I haven't seen an 80 carry with this much pressure in a while, and it is awesome to see.
Yo, chill, man. That, like, this is insane. 12-1 and 7, sure. I want to, like, I'm going to say it. I don't think he gets MVP this game. And the sheer fact of this is actually because of the amount of work Kaztech did as the Anivia. We talked about them not having an engage. We talked about the, like, you know, sure, if they're having the enemy team walking into them, right, it's actually kind of great. Well, actually, who needs engage when Kaztech on Anivia is just walling people off as the engage or stunning them up, right?
True.
Like, Kaztech was the engage this game. Screw everyone else. We don't need engage. It was all Kaztech on the Anivia making it all happen. And yes, Loki Dosi and Turk in the bot lane, of course. You know, not only did they lose, you know, the first kill in their lane, they ended up coming back. Loki Dosi just completely gliding on the Ezreal, 29,000 damage this game. But I don't know. Like I said, I fear, right? Like, I looked at this Syndicate draft. I'm like, yeah, the Syndicate draft is great. And I was like, yeah, if they don't win with this comp, I am very worried for how the series is going to go. And not only did they not win with that comp, it wasn't even close. This game was over, shut, closed. We almost saw a game end at 19 minutes. That is disgusting. Disgusting. From Cupid,
cinema.
okay? From Cupid. Like, they for sure were dominant in this game. I don't want to say, like, oh, it's such a disgusting display of, you know, like, they, like, Syndicate are trying, right? Like, it's not like they're playing poor, like, super bad, or like, it's just Cupid is just this strong of an opponent. It is just so hard, so oppressive in series like this, when you're having to play against Loki, who has just been space gliding both games so far. And this game, you even tried to set it behind, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, just such impressive stuff. Clearly the team knows what they need to play around, and their fighting is just immaculate today. They are definitely on it. I'd love to see if this momentum continues to semifinals, even to finals, if they're able to make it there. But this series isn't over quite yet. So I'll ask you, do you think this is a 3-0? Is it too early to say so?
Realistic me thinks this is a 3-0. Hope me is like, oh, we're gonna at least go to game 4. But like, as you can tell, you know, usually I need my light on, right? Because it gets dark. It's still light outside, so we could very easily have this series done while it is still light outside for me. So hopefully Syndicate are able to bounce back. They find an answer to just how dominant, specifically the bot side for Cupid has been. They need to find an answer quick, though, because they are running out of time.
They definitely are. And I think we'll take a quick break here before we get into game number 3 draft. But we'll see if Syndicate can stay alive or if Cupid can close it out. See you there. All right, on to game number 3 draft, potentially our last game of this series. Cupid on match point. Syndicate, this is make or break. This is your time to pick your stuff, get your comfort. It's now or never for AML.
I have to correct myself, okay? The fastest game was even infinitely faster than what I thought. 1744 was the fastest game this split. And that was done by Lane Zero Typhoon against Goats and Glory in Typhoon's favor. So, but regardless, still would have been an impressively fast game, especially for 2 teams that made it to playoffs. That would have easily been. But it will be the Nico first pick here for Syndicate, opting to stay on blue side. Again, they did utilize blue side very well. They just got outplayed. So,
yeah. I mean, I really like the Nico. I think it is generally strong enough to be a first pick. Just depends on exactly what you can play into it on the other side. I don't know what Cupid are going to aim for. Some people like the Alistar, you can disengage. Some people like going for, I guess the Melio's already out, but Bard is also a pretty common answer. Sometimes you can mitigate that Pop Blossom with the Tempered Fate, and Caitlyn Bard together are another very strong bot lane pairing we've been seeing a lot lately.
Yes. Very, we've actually started to see like Caitlyn be teched into Ashe in particular because of the range difference. So you can actually bully out the Ashe in the lane, which is usually the opposite. Ashe wants to be the one dominating the lane usually. But Caitlyn kind of flips that on its head. So we have been seeing her kind of rise as an answer into Caitlyn. But regardless, we got the Lucian coming in here for Syndicate. So we'll see a little bit of a different angle here from Syndicate. They try to go for double scaling, I feel like, in both of these last 2 games. Maybe it's time to flip the script, get going early, and we got the Nautilus coming through. So flexibility across the board here from Syndicate, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, maybe it's like the Nico mid, but that's kind of been lower in priority. It also could be like old school Nautilus jungle, which had its time back not too long ago, which I would love to see. Nautilus jungle is very fun, great gank setup, so we'll have to see what is going where. It's funny, these are the exact 2 picks I used to flex on my team because I could play Nico and Nautilus, so definitely get a lot of value from the flex there. But Sylas will be the answer on the other side for Cupid. Definitely some good ultimates to steal, so love to see it.
Pop Blossom, of course, one of the best. You get to become an engage tool for your team. And, of course, Hijack just gets the scale really well because you're an AP champ. But regardless, we will see here. There have been struggles with Sylas in general when there's a lot of CC he's playing it. He's forced to look at. Nico Nautilus definitely have a lot of CCs, so could be a difficult game here for Cupid. I thought last game was going to be difficult, but that literally was a cakewalk. So what do I know? What do I know? Okay, Mundo ban here coming through. I don't hate that. I think you're looking at Lucian, you're looking at Nico. You have a lot of burst on your team. You definitely don't want something like Mundo to just mitigate all your burst and then you can't kill him. So good ban here from Syndicate.
Definitely. I wonder what they're going to keep banning out. It could be like another tank top lane. It could be kind of focused into, if it is Nautilus jungle, it could be one of those junglers you want to take out. Or maybe even Sylas jungle on the other side if they try to flex those picks around just a little bit. So definitely leaving a lot of things wide open. Will be the least SYN taken out on the other side. Either Cupid don't think it could be Nautilus jungle, or they're trying to force it into Nautilus jungle by taking out some other options. So see what they want this last ban to be and what the team's rounded out with.
Yeah, will be the PR ban that they've been kind of putting down the entire time. So I am curious to see where things are going to go here for Syndicate. I do think it might just be Nico mid. I think, Lucian Nautilus bot lane makes sense. I think Nautilus jungle would be kind of insane on a game 3 when you're down 2 games and you're trying to desperately win, or Talia will be the answer. A lot of dashes here. So the Warp Ground will get a lot of value, and both Silas and Talia can go in the jungle. So flexibility for Cupid in this game on top of that. So we will see where things are going here for everyone as soon as these last 3 picks in this draft are locked in. Everything is going to click into place for us here as casters, as the Garen for sure is going top. Surely, yeah, right? Like Garen is for sure going top. We're not like trolling or anything. It's for sure going top, right? Right?
Could be. I can't imagine going anywhere else as Garen.
Right.
But we'll see what the last pick is. I think that'll really make things clear. Hopefully, if it is Nico mid, but I'm not sure. I'm really going to be confused. It is the Vel'Koz, so probably
so
Nautilus jungle. Probably.
I'm so lost.
Unless they have Garen jungle.
Okay, they can go Garen jungle and Nautilus top, right? And you play Lucian and Nico bot lane. How about we let production tell us when we get to that point? Okay. For the Jace, that does not help at all, by the way. They have 3 jungle champions. There are 3 champions that can jungle as the bottom 3. Oh man, what a mess. What an absolute mess. But the range here for Cupid is pretty good. I won't lie. They are outranging Syndicate outside of Vel'Koz pretty heavily. So they do have that going for them. Regardless of where champs decide to go in this game, they do have that advantage. So the range is still going to be a factor for them. Of course, still some great ults here for the Silas. Actually, unironically, Garen ult is not bad because you can get someone. Silas, very bursty champ, right? Like he kind of kit dumps you, and then you're kind of left on low HP. He's got to wait for his cooldowns again to kill you off. Well, if he just has Garen ult, that'll just solve the problem. So
there it is.
You do have to worry about that if you're Syndicate. But my biggest worry is, where are you putting things this game? I am so lost. I'm genuinely lost in the sauce with their draft. I have no clue where anything is going. I guess it's jungle Nautilus. Like, surely that would solve everything here for me if I'm Syndicate. Like, you just make Nautilus jungle happen, but that feels so odd. Like I said, game 3, the game, your back's against the wall here. Semifinals right in front of you. If you win the series, you're down 2 games, and we're opting in for maybe Nautilus jungle. We got Garen blind pick top lane. Like, we are spicing it up for Syndicate.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's comfort. Maybe they went through the Nautilus jungle phase. I mean, I've seen Nico jungle. I don't know if that's a thing that they've tried to flex either, but I think at least I'm probably going to stop guessing. I'm just ready to see what happens.
No point. There it is. It's Nico jungle.
But
it's confirmed.
Is confirmed. Yeah, Nico jungle, right as I said it as my last guess. Very interesting. I know you can do a lot of crazy stuff. You turn into a ranged minion for the higher attack speed at the beginning of the game. You can run down some of the lanes. Your ganks are pretty good. But if you get invaded, it can be pretty disastrous for the Nico here. So, I don't know. What do you make of that, Ozzy?
Well, what I make of it is what we're going to get in this game, because I really would rather not speculate, to be honest. Speculation here, though, is if Trixui actually can follow around this Nico, right? We see the Nico kind of just get followed around by Silas. The counter gank from Silas is usually always better. Like, anytime you see Hijack utilized, usually he gets the better ult in majority of cases. So when you're looking at kind of something like this where Nico can gank before level 6, technically so can Silas. They both have essentially the same amount of CC before 6, and I just value Silas a little bit better every single stage. Post 6, I think he's much better. You counter gank the Nico, you take her ultimate, you completely disrupt on the counter gank what they're trying to do, right? Because in reality, right, they're going to be utilizing the Pop Blossom as an engage tool, But if you're stunned coming out of your engage tool, then you're going to lose out on so much added burst, right? Added burst potential because of the secondary Pop Blossom from Silas, that it could be very difficult to convert some of these kills. But at the end of the day, Syndicate have decided this is what they want to potentially go out on, or, you know, bring us to a game 4 in a very, well, feast or famine draft. They have to be winning across the board here in my mind, because if they are not, I fear for their game and their series overall, because, you know, again, they lose this one, they're out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some risky behavior, but, you know, sometimes a risk is all it takes. We've seen crazier things win. That's what I'll say. So, I'm excited to see it. I hope you're excited to see it. You were right on the dragon last game. So, what do you make of this game number 3?
Well, it's either going to be like Hextech, right? Hextech or Infernal, where it's like super high value for both teams, or it's gonna be like, I don't know, Ocean Soul, where it genuinely just could not matter at all this game. So I will give my guess. I'm gonna go with Infernal.
Okay. I like the Infernal. I like the burst. Ready to see some people explode. I think I'm unironically going to go for Mountain. I want to see some resistances. I want to see protection from the burst. And, of course, Talia's in the game. So you got to go for the rocks. You got to go for the Mountain. And I think that'll do it for our pregame analysis. And we'll see you on the Rift. All right, the third and potentially final game for this series. And I was just saying in our little break there that basically I just see this as you need to burst the enemies before they burst you. There's not really much frontline. Garen can kind of be frontline, but likes to build a lot of damage. Nautilus also frontline, but usually not enough money to be tanky. So, I don't know. What do you make of this one, Aussie?
Well, what I make of this is, well, we have range versus not a lot of range. Vel'Koz, of course, longest range champ here for Syndicate. But Bard getting hooked up here could be a little dangerous, right? Like, they do have a lot of kill threat against Bard in this bot side. Level 1 will always go the way towards Caitlyn. So no surprise why they have priority there. Of course, double range on top of that. The Bard can hit the wave a little bit easier. And in this top side, I do need to point out Nute, no phase rush here, will be the Grasp Jace against phase rush and Ignite, and El Papa has a level advantage. Oh, he's dead.
Ooh, yeah, flashing.
He's alive.
After, actually not able to get the auto attack though.
Level 2.
So doesn't claim first blood, and the level up will save Nute's life there. Both summoner spells invested there for Pafo feels bad, but our top sides have been very active in the early game so far, so not too surprised to see that.
And at the beauty for Nute is he does have teleport, so he doesn't miss anything. He actually gets to get refillables. He's gonna be even in CS here. Should be even in XP. Maybe lost a couple, but a couple minions worth, and doesn't seem like it though. And he's exactly even here with the Garen, who doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, lots of trading here in the mid lane too, as these lanes are definitely very active. As another hook onto Turk will just be ignited, has to flash away. I think that the little bit of healing there definitely made the difference, as Loki just trying to get that lethal tempo stacked up as well. That is pretty interesting to me. What do you make of the lethal tempo pickup in this game?
I mean, I think it's fine. You know, you get to get more auto attacks, which means more opportunity to burst. I think Burst Strike is kind of fake on Caitlyn a lot of the times. So happy to see this come through. They don't really have a lot of crazy poke that you would necessarily consider going fleet footwork. So I don't hate the lethal tempo. It does give you a lot of trading potential in the lane as well if things go extended. Which, you know, we saw there, the Bard kind of kept the trade going for a while because he just didn't die. Definitely not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Is now Nute might get gang.
Yeah, wrapping around that is Nico as Nautilus here, but yeah, it should just go down here. Trying to get a little bit of burst. There's the root into the burst, and that's first blood once again here in the top side, but this time with a little bit of assistance as a Syndicate come out swinging in game number 3.
Yeah, I am again very confused. Like, I understand phase rush, you know, definitely not like the craziest in the world. Cosmic Binding will miss as Herc takes half of his HP, but definitely not the craziest thing in the world anymore with the amount of nerfs it's gotten. But in a matchup where you need to prevent yourself from getting run down, right? Phase Rush works perfectly for that, right? You utilize it so well. Maybe he's worried about popping it a little bit too early against something like Garen. Oh,
Tango has to flash as the hook actually goes wide on the bot side as well. But I love to see, like you were talking about, these junglers get involved in the early game. They both can gank before level 6, and we've seen both of them at least attempt that now. As of course we're going to look at the top side, the Garen spin to win, but no other kills yet.
Nothing. Trading again. Does have Ignite. Will be level 6 soon, thanks to his kill. Nute needs to be careful for that, because Ignite plus ult, well, try true Garen combo, buddy. Yell Demacia at you and you die, so. But will be reset coming through. And cancelled by Nute. But Wave is at his tower, so should, in theory, be safe. But Loki...
Yeah, lane gank with the Nico there, like I was talking about. It is very valuable when done right. It's actually the Demacian Justice leaves Nute at 1 health point there. The level up once again, making that not as close as it should have been. But Loki, having used the flash on that bot side, definitely not amazing for Cupid. I love to see the aggression from Syndicate on this rather strange draft.
I can't believe that Nute actually walked back up there. I was like, either he's super confident and understands Garen damage incredibly well, or it was just sheer luck. I'm not quite sure. As actually, Chill Savior actually forced to flash over the pit. So that's going to be no flash on Nico on her level 6, which is brutal. Such a nice engage tool. Now gank in the mid lane. Who doesn't have flash?
No flash. Yeah, here's Trix once again as Kaztek will pick that one up. Nice repeat gank there on the mid lane. And yeah, immobile mages are very, very immobile without that flash ability.
Yeah. Now Loki under tower. Caitlyn does get kind of sad when she's under tower like this. Tower shot will go towards Blush. But Loki, does get hooked.
Ooh, the hook connects, and there's the ignite as well. The burst onto Loki is good. Panda will take that one, but Pop Blossom is used against the poor Nico in the jungle, and there's the invades we were talking about. It is now 2-2. Cupid are ahead in gold, and this one is definitely an interesting early game. I said interesting.
Yeah. Interesting, that's right. But the critical thing here, right, is because the flash was burned, as Trixu, he forced to flash out himself. Might still be in danger.
Should be able to just walk away. Actually, backsteps though, so now might be in a little bit of trouble here. No flash, but the knockaway is good. Yeah, Kaztek should have just saved the jungle here, but there's 4 people in the mid lane. Flash to Mossy and Justice. It will be picked up by the Vel'Koz. And yeah, we're A-ramming pretty early in this one, but double root,
Kaztek
not bad use to Pop Blossom as well. Actually picks up Kaztek on the back end of that. I thought there was no way they were going to catch it with the CC, but Cupid overstay.
I mean, Syndicate not looking so bad in this game. The aggression has certainly worked out in their favor. Lush just going to tank the ace in the hole for some damage there, but overall, right, Syndicate coming out ahead in some of these early plays, punishing over aggression from Cupid, and also punishing out some flash timers here as this Garen, now 1-0-1, might be in some danger.
Yeah, walking away, but the phase rush is pretty quick. But actually, yeah, just will go down, can't sidestep the shock blast. And Nute getting the right angle will be able to punish that roam from Pafo.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yopafo backsteps literally like 1 second too soon. If he backsteps there, maybe he avoids it, but tough play to make. And, well, it's this Jace who has a monstrous CS lead because of that play in mid, by the way. Like, look at the CS lead here. 27 for the Jace. Oh, hook coming through.
Another good hook. Keeping Bard away from the portal for now. Gets chunked out by Blush with the culling. But no ignite means no one dies.
Yeah, and Perk just portals himself to safety. Void Grubs will go towards Cupid. Also want to point out your first guess is wrong. It's Chill Savior looking... Wow, Loki tanking the entire queue there. But no soul for you in this series so far.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up. I saw them out and claimed, and I was like, wow, immediately wrong.
That's fine. That happens. Happens to the best of us, you know? Thankfully, you did not go, like, double down on the ocean either, because you would have been wrong on that. I guess triple down at this point. Nute able to walk away from the Garen at this point, but we'll see what the soul is, because, you know, next strike coming up, I'd imagine, might be a spicier one here. A lot of mid-game power for both of these teams.
I mean, Infernal is still on the table, as you had suggested, which would be very, very good at assisting this burst.
Yes, it would. I will say that specifically, right, like the Lucian having a lead in bot side is great, but not if they get ganked.
Oh, there's the hijacked ultimate from the Nautilus. Now 4 people in the bot side, but Panda able to pull away. Tempered Fate will pause the felling flushes Fate pounded into the ground, as it will actually save Panda there, but the AD carry from Syndicate goes down.
It's so well timed too, 15 seconds before the strike. It's such a good play. I really want to highlight the Tempered Fate on this one. It is so well played. Although Kaztek with a little bit of a mistake here isn't able to ride his wall over. He actually comes off early. But look at this ult, it's perfect. Not only do they catch off the Nautilus, with it they catch the tower so they can just easily dive Blush there, who has no flash, no dash. Really solid play from Turk to get themselves the priority for this dragon.
And now we will see whatever soul it ends up being. I don't think that ocean marker is exactly correct, as it looked like Hextech was the icon that popped up there. So you were sadly mistaken, but it is the other soul that you mentioned. So will be very good for either of these teams if they're able to pick it up. And we just heard from production that a roam was successful towards the top side.
Yeah, Nute unfortunately dead off of it. So at the very least, Tango making some rounds here himself. Cause not usually known for roaming. It's definitely not like Talia, I will point out. Definitely not like Talia is for roaming, but still gets it done very successfully. 3 out of 5 KP on your mid laner, who doesn't usually get to rope all that much. Pretty good look here from Tango on the Vel'Koz. But so far, Chill Savior has been bleeding jungle camps because Trixui continues to visit his jungle and take it away from him. But I would like to see another gank towards the spot side where Cupid get this Caitlyn on the tower. Start waiting on it. You have grubs. Get yourself that gold lead early. But it's been kind of missing so far. Nico is there she is.
Oh. Yeah, Pop Blossom trying to flash to catch it, but the flash response from Kaztek is good. Gets the flick back and the burst, but that's now flash off of... Ooh, never mind. Pafo in the top side here trying to take... flashes to the... but could not get the Q onto the Jace. But here's a hook. Here's the culling onto Loki. Ignite invested as well, but Turk on the other side disincentivizes that play. Now Panda might just be the sacrifice, walking right into the trap, and it will go over to Trix. Tango using the ultimate, that disintegration ray on the other side, but is knocked out of it, and no one will fall in the mid lane. Just Panda being the only victim on the bot side.
And what did I ask for from Cupid? Get their Caitlyn on the tower, and what happens? Nice gank coming down bot lane from Trixui to a kind of bail out his bot lane from a sticky situation. 2v2 wasn't going so great. Chill Savior.
Oh, tries to go for the dive, maybe baited now, but actually flashes and gets the kill onto Tango. The kill will be traded for Panda. Probably not where you want the gold, but definitely will take a kill back onto the Silas, who has been performing very well this game.
Yeah, Trixui kind of had to commit. There was no out. 3 people there, didn't know Chill Savior or Panda were going to show up. So just committed for the kill to trade 1 for 1. Definitely not the worst look, but surprisingly here, Nute on this Jace has been performing incredibly well, spacing the Garen. Knows exactly when to utilize his move speed gains on the champ. Between, swapping forms, utilizing your acceleration gate, popping your Yumos. It's been absolutely played down to the T here in the top side, to the point he's winning trades, preventing himself from getting ulted multiple times in this game for death. And now with first tower going his way.
Yeah, I mean, just a great omen if nothing else for this Jace. Definitely winning this lane pretty hard here on the top side, even with the help that Pafo has gotten on the Garen. But Love to see the pressure from Cupid on that top side as Tango lands a very nice move here. Pop Blossom will actually catch the Bard trying to go into the portal, but here's Loki caught up as well. The culling should be enough damage as actually double kill over to Chill Savior after picking up both in the mid lane. It looks like Kaztech was able to survive that combo from Tango as well. So nicely done from Syndicate.
I mean, I talked about the amount of CC they have, right, in relation for Silas, but really anyone, if they get caught, like the amount of CC they can layer is essentially just a guaranteed death. So now Chill Savior almost gets caught out there by the Abduct. That's the only ability besides Hijack I know off of Silas. Because, you know, nothing else is important. It's the Abscond Abduct combo. E1, E2, you know? Also, I would use the cheat sheet, but like, I'm locked into the game. Locked into the game, producer. Okay. Anyways, regardless, we have Cupid looking in mid lane here for their mid tier 1. Won't find it, but some poke onto Blush early. Drake spawned in now. Will give the Drake advantage to a team getting closer to Soul.
Ooh, Panda has to flash from that flick back, but here's Pop Blossom on to 3 from the other side. Chill Savior making the play, but stolen Pop Blossom could be just as disastrous. Taken into the back line by Trix as Blush, under so much threat, will go down to the Silas. It looked really good for Syndicate, but like you talked about, that hijack of the Pop Blossom just does so much work, and it is all Cupid in that team fight.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, the initial look is so sick here onto 3, but the follow-up isn't really there. And look, the counter engage is just so much better. That's the dangerous part against playing against Silas, right? The counter Pop Blossom here was basically the game winner here, because now we finally have our first comfortable lead where Cupid up 5,500 gold almost. Wow, that is not true. Just 5k, buddy. Relax. Rounded up for no reason. Anyways, about 5,000 gold here for Cupid. Also the Drake. So they are comfortably in the lead in this game now. And it looked really good initially, right? Chill Savior finds a great flank angle. It looked like Cupid had no clue it was coming. But also Cupid's resolve in team fights as well. They don't panic. They don't instantly lose the team fight right then and there. Simply, they just stay patient. They let Trixui take it away and counter engage for them with also a 3-man Pop Blossom of his own. And now, well, he's kind of in danger.
Eventually, yeah, they get the hook. Here's the Tempered Fate, though, to buy time and make the Pop Blossom useless. Depth charge hijacked by Trix now. Flash over the wall from Chill Savior, but now they found a different target. Here's culling onto Loki. Loki actually manages to get out with barely any health left and will pick up the kill onto Pafo, but on the backside, Nute wants to get some leverage here. There's the depth charge, which actually will knock up
the wall is he took the wrong way.
On the back foot. Here it is for Panda. That disintegration ray is really good. Will take down one shutdown over to Syndicate, but the rest of the team now getting dangerously low. Another great flip back will mean another kill for Loki here, as Cupid are now pushing onto the inhibitor tower.
Oh man, it is just so sad for Syndicate. They get so many members of Cupid low, but they just don't have enough damage. And it's, great play. Also, that should have gone way more decidedly in Cupid's favor, but Kaztech accidentally flicks them over the wall instead of back into the warp ground there. So, Syndicate thanking their lucky stars it wasn't worse, but it was very close. We get an initial replay here. It's the Tempered Fate from Turk. Perfect once again, buys so much time here. Also, Chill Savior flashes out, really scared. They find the initial pick onto Loki, but it doesn't actually come through. Nice flash away, and is able to stay alive as Syndicate just cannot find any win, it feels like, in the series. Because yes, while they had some good looks, it hasn't been enough. It just barely feels not enough here for Syndicate in all 3 games, right? Like, initially it was the Renekton that got ahead here. Bo5 got super far ahead in the Renekton, which didn't translate. Everyone else was losing. Game 2 was just a straight stomp. Game 3 here, right? This was, I feel like, the closest game because I felt like so many more members were clicking here for Syndicate. But even that's not good enough. Which begs the question, what is good enough, right? That they are running out of time, right? We're looking at basically 2 mid-game comps playing against each other. Where, especially right now, barring Caitlyn finishing IE already, Lucian should be outperforming Caitlyn at this stage in the game, right? But that's not going to be the case anymore because IE's completed, working towards her Zeal item now. So Cupid in a really good spot here, and Syndicate have a lot of ground to cover if they're going to make a run for semifinals, because not only are they down in this game, well, it's 2-0 for Cupid already, so a lot of ground to cover, and very difficult to do so. Nute now getting ganked by a Crow.
Yeah. Here's the Pop Blossom. They want to get this pick, which is a great option here, as Blush will take that kill. I mean, getting more gold into Lucian is great, but it looks like they will trade their mid inhibitor for it. Not necessarily the trade you want, but at this point in the game is actually, are they going to take it? There it is. Loki gets the last hit on the inhibitor there. But, trading something is better than trading nothing. And I think that Syndicate getting some gold in their pockets will make these fights just a little bit closer. But now might be picked off on the top side. Baron and Dragon are both about to be up. So Cupid can kind of take their pick of what they want to pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a mistake not to pressure this Lucian in mid lane as they're going for it.
Yeah, there's the ace in the hole. We'll get a little bit of extra damage here. Teleport coming in.
Oh, I don't know if you want to do that.
Will be CC'd. Flash hook nearly connects onto Loki. That could have been an amazing angle for Syndicate if that connected. But now they're kind of stuck once again, trying to move in, trying to push up against a team that is pretty decidedly ahead of them. Definitely a rough spot.
Yeah, also the poke, just so brutal to play against, trying to walk in here. I mean, if I'm Syndicate, we have an objective bounty top. I don't see a world where we're ever allowed in against like Jace, Talia, like Caitlyn. I don't like Bard. There's just no way you're getting into this Drake. I think they should have just gone for top tier 1. Like, that's the best they're going to get, right? Like, they need gold. It's an objective bounty. The tower is basically almost dead anyway, so you wouldn't need to spend a lot of time on it. But instead, they don't get anything done. So now it's just Cupid continuing to grow their gold lead and get as much pressure around the map as possible. And do not fear, this is Nico.
Yeah, another potential pick here as Kaztec actually will flash the root, which might be crucial here as the CC chain does end. Disintegration Ray unable to claim that kill. Nice play there from Kaztec with the flash, but I mean, great look from Syndicate. I still want them to keep those sorts of plays up, but sad that one didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, this Talia is so tanky. Well, Panda now forced to stretch line himself to safety. Nute just still doesn't care, seems like.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, here's
care
Knight
now.
actually trying to go for the 1v1. Demacia and Justice will make this Jace go dangerously low, and one man down. Cupid start the Baron. Sorry, not down fully, but Jace very low, has to recall on the other side of the map. So this could be a good opportunity for Syndicate to try and walk in here, try and do something. Caitlyn traps make it hard. The Baron is taken by Cupid. They will get the root onto the Talia now with no flash. We'll get rooted up. We'll get taken down by Chill Savior. Definitely been a bright spot for Syndicate so far in this game, but one kill for Baron. Again, I've said it a lot, but not really the best trade for Syndicate.
Yeah. But when you're this far behind, not a lot of... Oh my goodness, Nute, please.
Tango just caught in a very bad position here. Actually does sidestep it, but will go down to Nute. It's just whether Chill Savior has enough damage to finish this off, but the answer is definitely no. 1v2 double kill there from the Chase on the top side. And if Syndicate weren't behind before, that definitely makes it a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, really nice sidestep here from Nute on the E coming from Vel'Koz, but it just doesn't matter, right? Chill Savior's not here in time. And now in the picture-in-picture of the live, it's Garen being run down.
Yeah, I mean, that Demacia Justice, now stolen as well, will just seal Garen's fate. And this is just all Cupid. They've proven themselves to be a very, very formidable foe, pushing in with the Baron now. They have pressure in mid and bot. This tier 2 tower should just go down here very easily, and one good fight should just mean the end of the game and the end of the series.
Yeah, very quick and easy one here for Cupid, potentially. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Chill Savior just taking down that Pop Blossom, still available for Tricks after being hijacked. We'll go on to 3 with the flash, and what a way to secure your victory. What a way to end the game, as Cupid gets to take their victory lap through these last structures, and they will take this series 3-0 and move on to AML semifinal.
I mean, what more is there to say? Like, Cupid just dominated today. Very well earned victory here from Cupid. Syndicate, man, it just has to be brutal, you know? Now it's starting to get dark, so Cupid didn't end fast enough, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, what is there to say? Cupid just played immaculate game. Like, their fighting is just insane. Their team fights are just... Maybe it's just today. Maybe they were just simply all firing on all cylinders today. But if that's not the case and they just look like this all the time, I have no clue how you're supposed to fight against that. That is just... how do you play? Like, game 2, specifically their most dominant game, was with a comp that they had no engage in. They really didn't have, like, a lot of options. And they still got it done. It was Kaztek on the Anivia finding those engages for his team as Anivia.
Yeah.
So
very impressive stuff from this team all throughout today. It was pretty quick. It was 3-0, but they showed us a lot of good stuff. I didn't see really any macro plays that I was questioning. I didn't have any, like, what are you doing, like, moments for this team. They really were solid from start to finish. And, you know, definitely some props to Syndicate, especially for that game number 1. They came out swinging. They came out with an advantage. And, you know, to lose to anybody, I think I would feel best losing to this team. I mean, Cupid definitely showing some really, really strong stuff. But I think I have my answer. But what do you think our match and game MVPs are today?
I mean, it's tough. Trixui had so many good moments in this series. Like, I think if you were to give it consistency, because for me, you're like, oh, maybe Loki is what I think you would consider. But this game kind of felt kind of weak. He kind of disrespected the Nico a bit. Really wasn't able to get going. So I think for me, I am giving it to Trixui. I think Trixui had a phenomenal match, or series across the board. Every single game, he felt super impactful on. The Kane felt really impactful. Like game 1, the Skarner was insane. This game, obviously, it was both counter engages with the Pop Blossom that we saw use that first got them rolling in this game and to close it out. So literally perfect bookend here, I think, for Trixui in game number 3 and earning the series MVP for me.
Yeah, I mean, consistency, definitely a very, very good thing to value. I will say, I think Loki earns series MVP for me, just for the style points, especially
That's
with the
fine.
Ezreal.
That's fine.
You know, this game is still 6-2. You know, not terrible, but yeah, I mean, definitely strong showing here. I will give an honorable mention to Trixui, though. Definitely great. Also, Turk did amazing today. Turk. Not to mention the Anivia. I mean, basically all of them. But we can only give one MVP, so sadly. But I would definitely be scared to see this team in semifinals, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them again in finals, if that ends up being the case. But any other analysis you want to add for us today, Aussie?
No, I do think if you are a team playing against Cupid, you need to find out how to team fight against them, or just don't team fight at all. Because it just seems like it doesn't matter how bad their comp functions, they will just win the team fight, which is very scary. Or, be good enough if you do have the better comp to actually play the team fights correctly and win, and, transfer your lead out of top lane. That would be my advice. Nute, I felt like, specifically, was very easy to punish. The Ornn and the Camille game, there's not much the Ornn can do. He's A, weak-sided because he's playing Ornn, B, Camille's counter matchup into him, right? But specifically, they punished the Jace really well. They punished the Abessa really well. If you are going to take anything away as a team playing into Cupid, I think maybe unlocking your top laner, getting your top laner that lead, and then transferring it across the map might be a way to take down this team, because it doesn't really matter how good their team fighting is if your top laner is 6-0, has 4,000 gold on the enemy AD carry. And of course, you do have to hold it together. That's the one thing that the Renekton game was kind of missing. The rest of their team was bleeding just too hard. So, otherwise, Cupid just insane game. Insane series.
Yeah, that's the main way that I would see anyone beating this team. But we'll have to see. They're going to go into semifinals. We have to say goodbye to Syndicate. No underdog run today, but nice showing. They should feel proud. And thank you guys very much for watching today with us. And thank you, Aussie, for casting with me. Thank you to Macros for producing for us today. And we'll see you next week for some semifinals action. Getting even closer. See you guys then.
Bro, just use Zen Market.